risk amplifies supply risk. So whether the risk within your supply chain, the cyber risk, is no longer just for IT, it is within your supply network. So when one of your suppliers gets hit, that can easily be passed on to you, whether that's through the actual data itself or the run-on consequences of that supplier becoming unavailable. So 30% of global breaches now originate from a third-party partner. That's double what we saw a year ago, where it was just at 15%. And there's huge disruption, the run-on effect from this. Just as an example, maybe going slightly the other way, is the Jaguar Land Rover attack, where the data taken from that and the processes that had to stop as part of that, the run-on effect was that 5,000 organizations in a single ecosystem lost some data or lost some business on the back of that. So what you need is to be moving procurement from this purely spend orientated process and department to instead looking at cybersecurity as one of your primary goals within the business. So, Alan, I mentioned that 30% of breaches starting from a third party. If we go to the next slide for our chat, how do you go in any way to prevent that? How do you spot those hidden vulnerabilities that could emerge?
Yeah, I mean, we'll keep these answers brief to try and catch up on time because the answer's not very complex. It's about having a controlled onboarding process, pre-relationship vetting, all the good things I mentioned about onboarding earlier, having some forethought about what you're going to ask suppliers and also what you can ask suppliers should something come up.
Back to the Jaguar Land Rover example. So that hit obviously a massive number of organizations. How do you make sure that if we were to hear about one of our suppliers having a cyber attack in that manner, how do we make sure that we can respond really quickly to that and that we are a trusted advisor within the business to respond immediately?
Yeah, I mean, there's several answers to that. I mean, very simply, first of all, you need to have access to information. So we have Power BI embedded in our tools, so you can run reports. And it's about having that risk identification either before it happens or during it, when it happens, to understand exactly what's happened, which vendors are at risk, whatever the risk is, to be able to pinpoint that and the vendors associated with it, and then be able to react to it either by having different options or be able to have existing templates to push out and check your entire ecosystem, which we saw very much during tariff side of things or financial crisis
Yeah.
or Brexit, to go out to your suppliers with a specific questionnaire very quickly, very easy, and say, hey, send us some information there so you can react more quickly.